Trust me guys when I say this, by the end of this month, I am gonna be paranoid of each and everything happening around me. Yeah, I have done this to myself. Hi guys, how are you all doing? I hope you all are doing great. I am doing just fine. But I don't know for how long I can survive this way because I have been on a spree of consuming true crime content, and my brain right now is malfunctioning. Like honestly, like there are podcasts, there are movies, there are documentaries which I have watched in last few days, and right now I almost know what goes inside a murderer's head. So without further ado, let's see what recommendations I have got for you all. So let's just start with the movies, shall we? The first one on the list is considerably the most haunting and traumatizing true crime movie that I have come across. The fact being that it happened so close to me, like a terrorist attack of Mumbai in 2008. I remember I was around 8 years old at that time when it happened, and for 3 consecutive days there was not a single minute in my house for when the TV was not turned on. Like it was running 24/7. The news channel was on and we were just glued to the television screen, traumatized, crying, screaming and whatnot. So the Attack of 26/11, it's a brilliantly directed movie. It portrays all the horror that went in the people's head when the incident happened, how brutal the incident was and how it affected the lives of hundreds and millions of people. So if you are up for giving yourself some trauma, then you can watch it. Yeah, you can. Okay, the next one is definitely not that terrorizing, but it is at the same time. The next movie that I'm going to talk about is Snowden. Now, the movie is about a man who exposed America of all the heinous privacy breach that it has been doing. It is about how each and every movement of each and every single individual is being tracked. And privacy? What's that? Like, what's that? It's about the man who exposed America of being this sneaky ass that it is. It is about Snowden. The next movie that I'm going to talk about is called Ankura murder case. It is also an Indian movie. It's a Hindi movie, and it is based on the context of medical failure, medical negligence, where a boy, probably in his childhood, like he was probably 10, 12 at that time when he was admitted to the hospital because of some stomach ache, and it was found that he was having an issue related to appendix. So it was a minor surgery that was about to happen, but that innocent little kid have to lose his life because of the negligence and idiocracy of certain high on power and fame doctors who believe themselves to be some kind of messiah, to be, the second hand man of the god or something like that. The next section is documentaries. I have been obsessed with documentaries recently, not just crime. I have been watching a lot of other documentaries as well. I am giving up on movies and series. I'm just hooked to documentaries. The 3 documentaries, true crime documentaries that I want to talk about is, first one being Don't Fuck with Cats. It is about a man who is, what's the exact word, psychopath, who is a psychopath and decides to give the pain to a huge number of people. Like that man decided to kill innocent kittens online, like with live audiences, with hundreds and thousands of people watching the video of a man killing kittens. So how that triggered people. The story of the person who decided to do such a thing to an innocent cat, and how people were aware that if a person can do such thing, then with innocent animals, then that person can do it with human beings. And not to spoil it for you guys, but shit minds do shit crimes. So yeah, that happened, and it's about the whole mind-boggling journey of the common people who were just triggered by this and wanted to get that man caught at any cost, at the cost of personal risk. And yeah, that's that. The next one that I'm gonna talk about is the Tinder Swindler. The Tinder Swindler is about a con man who decides to cheat women by making them fall in love with me. Yeah, typical trope, I know, but it's ruthless, I would say. Like, you know, you can harm someone physically, and then you can harm someone mentally, emotionally, and I consider them both equally bad. So the ones who are looking for things, who are obsessed with true crimes, but can't really watch gory stuff and something which is too pathetic, then this is also pathetic, but I guess the level is on the lower stand, so you can watch this. The next one that I'm going to talk about is the documentary that didn't allow me to sleep for nights altogether. Like, even now, I have watched it many months back, but even now I would be lying down and suddenly something comes up in my head, and it just disgusts me to such an extreme level that I go numb. I literally go numb. The documentary that I'm talking about is The House of Secrets. It's about the infamous Burari case where 11 people of the same family decided to commit a mass suicide. And the sheer horror of such an incident, how it really triggers people who can relate to it and think of the family to be some family which probably is of their neighbors, or you know, it's just few years away from me. So yeah, that's that. I don't want to over explain it. There are certain angles which really made me uncomfortable whenever there is this you know, the self-proclaimed god man, god woman kind of a angle added to something. It really triggers me to the worst. So not to give you a spoiler, but there is such an angle to it. I would recommend you guys to watch it because it's beautifully made, but then please be aware that it's gonna trigger you and it's gonna give you sleepless nights. So yeah, that's that. Then the next favorite thing of mine, the podcast. I have been obsessed with podcasts. Like it's such a beautiful way to multitask, you know. But I decided to listen to all the podcasts that were based on true crime. So okay, let's start. The first recommendation that I have for you guys is the two podcasts run by Bailey Sarian. One is Murder Mystery Makeup. I first come across that on YouTube. She has a YouTube channel where she sits down on Mondays and she would put on makeup and tell true crime stories. So I would eventually use it as a podcast itself, but then later she decided to play it as a podcast on Spotify and other streaming platforms. So it's available, and she also started a series called Dark History. So that's something you can stream. And the next one is called The Solved Murders. I recently come across this. It is picking up some which were really challenging for the authority to catch hold of, and when the person have been associated with some crime that we don't want to happen to anyone we know. It's possibly the worst nightmare for us. It is how the crimes got solved, how the murderers were caught. So Solved Murders is one such podcast which I am liking recently. And the next one, the obsession of mine, which I completed like in 7 days. I completed about the 40 episodes that they had. It's called the Desi Crime Podcast. It is amazing. Everywhere the crime documentaries, the crime podcasts we come across, it's based specifically on US or UK, or the white people, the Ted Bundy and the Night Stalker, and we all know about such things. But what we don't know is the gory crime happening in the Desi region, like in India, in Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Sri Lanka. And the beauty of the two people narrating it is just insane. It's amazing. I have been obsessed with this. I have completed it all, and I'm badly waiting for them to release their new episodes. So Desi Crime Podcast will be in the list for you guys as well. I will be attaching the links of the podcast in my description, so please check them out. I hope that you decide to watch something, and if you have any recommendations, any true crime recommendations, please put them down in the comment section. I would love to watch more content, stream more content, listen more content, even if that's specifically harming me. So until the next time, bye bye guys.